Home Assistant automations have come a long way, but for a lot of people, there's still something missing. YAML can be hard to visualize, and tools like Node-RED add extra complexity. But what if there was a third option, something visual, powerful, and fully native to Home Assistant? Well, that's exactly what we're going to take a look at in this video today. Hey everyone, my name's Simon and welcome to a new video on Byte of Geek, a channel that's all about Home Assistant and smart home technology. Now, over the last year, the Home Assistant team have been hard at work making huge strides in updating automations in the system, and it's a much better experience now than it's ever been, certainly for anyone new to Home Assistant. However, for many, there's one thing that remains missing from it that exists elsewhere. And when we have situations such as this, it demonstrates the impressive capabilities of the Home Assistant community. Frequently, individuals develop solutions not only to address personal challenges, but also to benefit all users of this powerful smart home platform. And whilst taking a break from designing my smart home dashboards, I came across a project on GitHub that could very well change the way you build your automations today. If you're struggling with YAML or you find Node-RED too complicated, but you like the idea of visually designing your automations, then this project aims to bring visual flow automations to Home Assistant right in the core system as an integration you can install via HACS. This isn't an add-on like Node-RED, so there's no external system, Docker containers or databases to worry about. This is completely integrated with Home Assistant. It knows about your existing automations, your devices and services. The project is called Complex Automation Flow Editor, or CAFE for short, and it's been created by Federico Zivolo. And from what I can tell, he's been using some AI agents to help with the development of this. However, he does apparently have a software engineering background, and there is now another contributor on the project as well. Now, there's a big caveat with this project right now, and that is that it's very much in the beta stage. When I first installed it, there were some obvious issues with it, not system breaking issues, but things that just made it harder to use than it should have been. But updates are coming through quite quickly now, and a lot of these are being resolved. It is, however, a very usable thing, and as you can see here, you can load up your existing automations that you've created in Home Assistant and edit that automation and then save it back into Home Assistant. But before we jump into the install, if you're enjoying this kind of deep dive Home Assistant content, then give the video a like, as it really helps the channel, and consider subscribing for more smart home stuff just like this. Right, so on to installing CAFE, and we just go into HACS. And if you haven't got HACS installed, then you're missing out on some great functionality just like this. And I've got a step-by-step video on how to install it on the channel, which I'll link in the description down below. So in HACS, click on the three dots in the top right corner and select Custom Repositories. Put in the URL for the repository that I've put in the description of this video. Select Integration as the type and then click on Add. After that, search for CAFE and then click on the download button in the bottom right corner. When prompted for the version to download, just leave as the default and then click on Download. Restart Home Assistant and then go back into Settings and Integrations and search for CAFE and then add that to your system. Once you've done that, it will then show in the sidebar of Home Assistant and the desktop will automatically be displayed. There is a little bug at the moment that if you're in dark mode, then it will default to light mode, but if you refresh Home Assistant, then it'll honor your system settings. If you've used Node-RED before, then this will probably look quite familiar to you. But just looking on the dashboard, and you've got your nodes panel on the left, you've got triggers, conditions, actions, delays, and wait for conditions, and you can just drop them onto the canvas and then join them together. And then when you click on them, then you can set the properties in the panel on the right side. You can zoom in and out, and you've got a mini map, as it were, to quickly navigate complex automations. You can open existing automations or import YAML or JSON files, and you can export the flow as JSON as well. So as an example, I can quickly drop these nodes on the dashboard, join them up how I want, and then I can go into the properties for each node and choose what that node is going to do. If I want to load in one of my existing automations, then I can do that as well. So if I just pull up a simple one, as you can see, it gets laid out for me, and I can drag the nodes around as required, and then I can edit the details for these nodes and save it back into Home Assistant. The way this works is that it stores the metadata, so that's things like the visual layout and the node positions, etc., as hidden object data inside the automations variable block, which then keeps it together with your logic. So if we just switch into the standard automation editor in Home Assistant, and as you can see, this is what the YAML looks like at the moment. Standard YAML for a simple automation. If I save the same automation in Cafe, then now switch back into the Home Assistant editor and reload the automation, then the YAML now has some extra details to it. I can edit the automation in Home Assistant, and this metadata then stays with the automation. Obviously, that was a super easy automation, so I've got something a little more complicated, and this one is for turning the lights on just before sunset, but only if it's before a certain time. If the lights then turn on in a certain time window, then they will be a certain brightness level, and if it's outside of that window, then they will come on slightly dimmer compared to the other setting. And as you can see, it's loaded that automation up absolutely fine. I noticed there is a recent update to make the layout of complex automations look better. This kind of works for me, but I would prefer it to kind of like lay it out a little bit clearer, if I'm being honest. Whilst you're doing all of this, you can view the YAML at any time, and you can also debug your automations as well. So in the panel on the right side, there is a debug option, and you can set how fast it runs your automation, and also set your condition outcome, so you can have a random result or a true or false result, and then you can run it and you get a little step indicator giving you a nice clear view of how your automation is executing, keeping it nice and clear yet simple and effective. What's great about Cafe is that this works with Home Assistant, so if you ever decide to stop using it, then you haven't lost anything. Worst case is that you need to remove some extra metadata from your automations just for tidiness, really. It's not 100% perfect, and you'd be wise to back up your automations before you start playing around with them. But I think this is a very nice solution that so far has had very little traction from the Home Assistant community. It brings huge potential for automations and effectively gives us the third way of doing things that so many people have wanted. So there you go, that's Cafe. Is this the killer feature that Home Assistant needs for automations? Is it enough for you to ditch Node-RED? Let me know your thoughts down below in the comments. I've put all the links you'll need in the description of this video, and if you do use Cafe, then make sure to hit the star button on the repository to show the developer you appreciate their work. If you've enjoyed this video, then please like, share and hype it so that more Home Assistant users get to see this. And if you want more smart home content, then why not subscribe to the channel as well? But as always, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye for now.